Now here's the thing, let's talk about personal hygiene, things like that. Now, since I was doing that keto in 1 month, because I was looking for some sort of satiation from something sweet, then I was drinking a lot of decaf coffee, about 6 cups a day. Every time I ate something, I would need to drink something sweet and creamy, and I was putting a lot of cream in as well. I was putting about 300 calories worth of cream in every cup, I found out, and in over 2 days I put on over 1 kilo, and so I had to quickly modify that. But in 2 or 3 more days then I'd lost that again. But those of you that have been watching my videos for a long time, you would have noticed that I've always had very white teeth. And mostly they're very naturally white. There was a time when I had them whitened about 20 years ago, but other than that I've not bothered, and I was never a big coffee drinker. But since I was drinking 6 cups of coffee a day, then my teeth went almost black. Now, they've gone brown, patchy, dull. Look, this tooth is a fake one. That one's a cap. And that one was colour matched with my teeth about 20 years ago. And so, you can see. But that wasn't discernibly noticeable about a month ago, because the teeth were still pretty white. And so I went to see the dentist 2 days ago, and I said, what the hell's going on here? He says, you're drinking a lot of coffee and smoking. I said, I'm not smoking, but I've recently been drinking like 6 cups of coffee. He said, that's it. I said, what, just like that? That's it? 6 cups of coffee a day? He said, are you drinking black coffee? I said, no. It's got a lot of cream in, so you know, it's not that dark. Goodness me, we all know people that drink loads of coffee all the time, and you'll think that their teeth would be absolutely black, but they're not, are they? So I'm looking for another explanation. And something else happens, people, that you know, I've got quite a bit of grey coming through on the beard, but since I've been on the keto, I haven't dyed this in a whole month, and there's hardly any grey. There's just hardly anything coming through. Just a little bit in the bottom there, and normally that would be, you know, full with grey, but there's no grey in my hair. That's the thing. Grey hasn't come out at all. I'm like, what the fuck? Is that got anything to do with it? So, okay, of course, well, I'm happy about the beard and the hair, but the teeth has took a turn for the worse. So, what I've done, I bought these whitening strips. I've been doing research, which is best, and this, that, and the other. And I was looking to order some new gel for these trays. Now, I've had these about 20 years, and with this bleaching gel, you put a little bit in each one of these teeth, and some of the gels you can leave on overnight if it's a slow acting one, or others you leave it on for an hour, and you do this every day for about 2 weeks, and then it completely whitens your teeth. But I looked around and I thought, well, that's much more expensive than these stripes, and a lot of people say that, well, this is a pretty good thing, and you know, it works, and I could get them the next day, so I got some, but then I went on to the internet to look at how to, you know, put them in, because I put them on and they're all sliding around, and apparently what you have to do, you have to dry your teeth first. Right, so clean them off and then I dry the teeth, kind of keep them out, you breathe in, so it sucks out the saliva from between your teeth, and you've got to keep wiping it and brushing it with a towel, and then you've got to stick one of these little stupid strips on, and you put them over and you fold it under a little bit, but by the time the saliva's there, you know, they're moving, they've gone all gooey, and you have to keep them for half an hour. And so I did do that, and there's a difference, and what happens is where these things are sticking, then it gets whiter. So now my teeth look even worse because they've got pretty white patches, even with one application, and the others are brown. You see that? And I'm like, what the fuck? I've never had that shit before. And I'm thinking, is it me age, all of a sudden this shit happens? But I'm very, very happy that the dentist says, no, we can clean them. And they offered me to get them cleaned for 80 quid to do this high pressure jet wash type thing. And that would, you know, clean off all the brown. And then for the whitening, it's usually like 400 quid. But in the month of May they're doing a deal and it's only 200 quid. So it looks like I may go for that, but all they do is they mould you a set of these. And I've already had that done years ago, and then they will apply probably a stronger version of the gel, because what they do is they put on a gum protector. They put on it's like a blue stuff. They put on a blue paste all over your gums, because if you're using heavy duty peroxide, then it can burn your gums, and I've had that happen before. So they put that on, and then they apply the peroxide, and I think over a 2-hour period they'll do that 4 times whilst you're in the dentist. That's sort of read online. I don't know whether my dentist envisions doing that, but like for 200 quid, well I thought, well I've already got the trays, and I was doing a little bit of bleaching about a month ago, but I was just doing it once a fortnight. You know, I never did any research to see how, you know, much you should apply and for how long. But you're supposed to do it every day for a fortnight, not just once a fortnight. I can remember the fortnight bit. I thought, oh, okay, once a fortnight then. But no, that's not the case. And the other thing is, for those of you that, you know, interested in this stuff, when you put this peroxide on your teeth, it softens the enamel. And so you most certainly shouldn't drink coffee or eat chocolate or blueberries or Ribena or anything like that, because that's going to get absorbed straight back into the pores of your teeth. So when you're doing this whitening thing, you're supposed to have a white diet, and that means that you don't have any of these foods with the tannins in. So avoid foods with you know, tannins in, like blueberries and chocolate and I suppose red wine, things like that, you see. So I've got these, and I've just ordered, because they're slipping all over the place, they're patchy, they don't work properly. And you know, you can listen to dentists on YouTube, and they'll tell you how to stick these, and yeah, they work pretty good, and they're probably the next best thing other than the trays. But they don't mention that they slip all over the fucking place, and you have to dry your teeth, and saliva makes them move around, and then they get patchy. They don't mention any of that, you see. This is what I don't like, the human being. I really don't like them, because they're so deceptive, they're so deceitful, they're so conniving. They really are motherfuckers. Why can't anybody just fucking tell the truth? Why can't anyone tell the truth? Well, probably because there is no truth, I don't know. But, so I have got some of this gel. It's coming tomorrow, so that's wonderful, because I'm going to be taking it on holiday. I'm going on holiday, people. I'm going to the Canary Islands. The exact island I will disclose on the day. I will be travelling and arriving this Sunday in the evening time there. And I'm going with this woman who's paid for the holiday. She invited me to go, and I've never met her, and I'm going to be calling her Mrs. X, and she doesn't want to be spoken about, and she most certainly doesn't want to be named. so I will respect her request. And so I don't know what to expect really. I did actually speak to the lady. She's a very pleasant lady. Spoke to her for a couple of hours on WhatsApp one evening. You know, you got it. I never even saw her face before. I accepted. I said, yeah, I'll come. And I never even saw her face. She's one of my viewers. I mean, she's been a viewer of mine for a long time, so she knows pretty well what I'm about. And it's a funny thing, because people, when they know what you're about, they kind of like think unconsciously that you know something about them. Well, I don't. I don't know anything about any of you, do I? Unless I've spoken to you a little bit. It's kind of weird, you know, doing what I'm doing, because you've got all these people looking and knowing all about your stuff. And, you know, they don't even want to put a comment down, all secretive and, you know, protective about everything. Wow, it's a funny old world, people. So, yeah, goodness me. And, by the way, I've had a quote for this, and I can get that done for £1,000. I can get a cap. Well, it's kind of like, it's this bridge. It's going to be a bridge from this tooth. That one, I'm going to grind that one down and put a cap on that, and then have the teeth sitting next to it. So I'll have that done for £1,000. Just keeping up with the health and beauty, people. You know, it's maintenance, isn't it? Got to do a bit of maintenance. You know, keep yourself clean, keep your fingernails clean, keep your ear holes clean, keep your nasal hair clean. You know, I've got all this stuff. Keep all that. And then the tweezers to pluck out the odd wayward eyebrow, the nail clippers, and then I've got these scissors to gently trim the tash, and then I've got these dental flossing things to clean that. So yeah, always keeping on top of everything, people. Mind and body, inside and out, holistic health. You've got to keep healthy and vibrant, and you know, if we do that, then we're going to be in the best possible scenario for healthy longevity. There's an old geezer downstairs. He's not that much older than me. He's about 10 years older than me, and he's absolutely bollocks. He's about on his deathbed now. He's bedridden every single day. He's an alcoholic. He's got all different sorts of things going on with him. He's blind, and his face swells up, and he can't walk, and he falls over. Fucking hell. He's been drinking a long time. Whereas there's another guy, he's 82, and he goes out on his electric bike, and never anything seems to be wrong with him. He looks even younger than him downstairs. So he hasn't drank for a long time, and he does his exercise, you know, and he probably eats a lot better. But you know, lots of things to do with illness are hereditary. Well, so they say. But most certainly the illnesses are due to poor nutrition and lack of exercise. So even if you have poor nutrition, as long as you're doing the exercise, because the body's a miracle, and if you are doing the exercise, the body's going to find what it needs from that food. And you know, that is one of the miracles of the bodies. Now, one of my nephews, he never ate anything except white stuff, i.e. chips and white bread and white rice. He wouldn't eat any spices or eat chicken. So white, that's all he was eating. That's all he's ate for like 20 years. And he's 6'4", and you know, he's going to be a strapping lad, and he seems to be, you know, healthy and all the rest of it. But you don't know how this is going to fare up, you know, later on in life, if you've not had the nutrients to, I don't know, do whatever it does. You know, when we're young, we get away with a lot of stuff, don't we? But if you haven't had the building blocks and the foundation of a good solid diet, then, I don't know, things can probably go pear-shaped on you. Yeah, I used to do loads of videos about health. I've done many diets. I've done urine drinking for 6 weeks, and I've done water fasting for 7 days, and yeah, lots of things like that, trying different foods and different ways of life, and yeah, all that sort of thing. But I've found pretty well how to do it now, and I'm just steady Eddie. I'm not trying to break any records anymore, people. Anyway, so there you have it. Teeth whitening is relatively inexpensive once you've got the trays, but you can actually buy like teeth whitening packages, and the actual gums, the gum things, the gum moulds, they come in a packet. And I think what you do is pretty much like an old gum shield when I used to box. You used to put these gum shields in boiling water for about a minute or two, and then when they're nice and soft, you take them out and you fix them in your teeth and you push them all around, and then they mould to your teeth. Now what these dentist companies ask you to do, they'll send you out a variety of that, and you do it and you push it around and that, then you send it back to them, and then they'll make you one of them. Much more inexpensive than going into a dentist, because these days, people, dentists are the latest mafia. They are racketeers. They're fucking criminal. They're absolutely criminal. I was quoted £3,500 for an implant. £3,500. Can you imagine what sort of a car you can buy for £3,500? A very fine one. These days, the dentists, they're all going private. They don't want national health because it just doesn't pay, and so they're being very, very picky and choosy. But one day what's going to happen is the government is going to have to reform the dental practice, and they're going to have to call them in and say, motherfuckers, you've just got out of hand, haven't you? Look at you greedy bastards. The prices are just going up and up and up. And this is, again, the human being, the human nature. This is why I don't like them generally. Because if you look in every single region, you see this fucking deception and this greed and lying. And I went to consult one dentist about this, and from the very beginning, it was just ripping me off. It was just extortion. They said, oh, well, you're going to need to come in for a consultation. And I thought, oh, consultation, they're going to be looking at the tooth and going to be telling me what they're going to do, this, that, and the other. No, I had to pay 50 quid, and all it was to sit in front of one girl. She wasn't qualified in any shape or form, and she says, well, what we're going to do then is we're going to do this, and she just showed me a picture that she's got a standard card and how the tooth goes in like this. I said, is that it? Well, I've got a whole lot more questions. I want to speak to the dentist. I want to ask them about this, about that, and something else. Oh no, that's all you get on this, that, and the other. And I said, I want my fucking money back. I want my money back. And anyway, I went in to see the dentist after that, and he started telling me about, oh, there's going to be a cost for this, and there's going to be a cost for that, and there's going to be a cost for that, and I kept going, of course there is, of course there is, of course there is. And in the end, I just told him, I said, you know what, I got up out of the chair and I said, your business is probably leading in corruption in the whole fucking world, other than the pharmaceutical companies. Dentistry has to be second. You are corrupt motherfuckers. And he just walked over to the door and opened it and looked at me. A little 4-foot fuck-all Indian he was. I went, thank you. Good day to you, sir. Anyway, that's my little rant about dentists over. So anyway, people, see what you think about that.